hi, nobodies. It's me again. So I was thinking, yeah, big shocker there. Uh, like today is a really long day. That's not to say it's a bad day, and sometimes you look forward to things and they don't happen. And that got me to thinking that, hey, maybe I should do a blog about what to do when you get to feeling this way, like this letdown. Now, if I know that I've been let down intentionally, or if somebody doesn't have a good excuse, my first reaction is to think, well, fuck them. They're a piece of shit anyway, and this is what I hate about them. Very negative. I really shouldn't do that. But it makes me feel better about me. And is that really so wrong to feel better about yourself? Like to get that mean of how dare they? I mean, do they realize that I'm fucking awesome? You know? And honestly, people, I mean, everybody's awesome in their own way. I mean, we have that capacity. And some people are awesome in the way that people gravitate towards them. Some people are awesome in that they look good. Some people are funny. We all have our good points. And that makes each and every one of us awesome. Now, some of us will lose our awesome because we choose to be addicts, or because we choose to do bad things. So we lose a little bit of that shine. That does happen. But I don't want anybody who's watching this to lose their shine. Okay? I want you to hold on to that light. Because if you're filled with the darkness of I suck, everybody hates me, I'm not worth anything, everybody lets me down, I should be used to it, it shouldn't bother me, I should expect to be let down. I don't want anyone to get overwhelmed by that darkness. It's a sad existence. So, and I'm not saying that it isn't, that it won't make you feel, it will make you feel better to bitch about that person who has let you down. That will make you feel better, but it is negativity. But it's okay to be negative. I mean, you ain't got to be positive all the time. I get bitchy too when I clean up after my family. I'm rather bitchy. They better steer clear of me because obviously they're thinking these people they don't give a shit that I'm cleaning up after them. They are such lazy fucking pigs, And it's negative, and it doesn't really make me feel better to say it, and just like talking about how much this person or that person sucks because they rejected you, or because they forgot about you, or because they let you down. It doesn't make you feel better. So, if you don't know the reason why somebody has forgotten you, or let you down, or they've rejected you, it's always fun to kind of come up with, well, maybe this happened. I mean, and you can come up with like some really crazy stories. Like maybe he fell into a vat of peanut butter and a dog licked it off, and he just enjoyed that so much that he couldn't visit me. Or that's not a good example, but hopefully you get what I'm saying, is that, you can come up with some pretty crazy stuff to mitigate that it's about you. Because a lot of times, like when people let us down, it isn't about us. When somebody forgets you, it's not about you. But we make it about us, which I'm not saying you're not important enough for it to not be about you. Like, you're not important enough. I'm not important enough for it to be about me. But a lot of times it isn't about us. It's about them, that they just flaked out, or they were busy, or they were sick, and they didn't think to tell you, hey, plans have changed. To us, that might be like, that's rude as hell. I'd never do that to somebody. But, we can't make everyone be who we want them to be. We can't make everybody know, like, our particular code of conduct. Everybody's got a different code of conduct. I used to just show up at people's houses. I knew the people. I wasn't just like going to random houses and saying, hey, what's going on? No, I knew the people, and I would just show up, and think that it's no big deal. If I'm just in the neighborhood, just show up. And like, I don't mind if people do that to me, which was why I didn't think about it bothering people when I did it. Because I was like, hey, plans can change. If somebody shows up at my house, my plans are going to change. But now it's like, okay, I get it. I get it that people are busy. And plus, you get so many times of doing that where they're not home and you wasted gas. Because even if I wasn't just in the neighborhood, I might, being just in the neighborhood could be like, oh, well, I'm in this area and that's only 30 minutes from here, so I'll go that way home and swing by there. And we always have to try. I mean, the big thing about getting through depression and BPD and anxiety and all of those mental health problems, whether you're taking medication or not, because anybody taking medication will tell you that they are not fine. They are not perfect. They are not fixed. There are areas in their life that are lacking, because let me tell you something, those antidepressants, they don't drown out those negative automatic thoughts. They don't. Those are still there. They don't take away the insecurities that you have. They just regulate your mood to keep you from bouncing off the walls for no apparent reason. But I found that if I think about things, I'm not one to jump to conclusions about what somebody means when they say something. A lot of people with mental disorders have this chip on their shoulder, and they're just waiting for somebody to say something, and then they just go off, and then they feel like shit. I read a thing on Facebook on one of my groups. This girl, she is friends with her boyfriend's ex, and she told the ex-girlfriend, she tells the ex-girlfriend that he loves me more than he ever loved you. I know why she said it. She's jealous. She feels insecure about this girl. And that's very common with girls. You'll feel insecure around other girls, especially if you think that they're prettier or smarter or more of what your boyfriend needs, because you're always worried that he's going to leave you for somebody else. And, if it's somebody he's already been with, I mean, apparently, if he's still friends with her, things didn't end so badly. But you really have to think about those types of things. My advice to that girl was to write a letter of apology to the ex-girlfriend, and to write and to put in there, and I said it's going to be hard, but to put in there that you're jealous of her. Let her know that you're insecure. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm insecure. Own it. It's your insecurity, okay? Nobody can take it away from you. Think about it. It doesn't matter how many people, like, if you feel ugly, it doesn't matter how many people say, oh, but you're so pretty. You still feel like you're ugly. It doesn't matter how many people say. So you own that insecurity. You own it. No one can take it from you. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, no matter what you accomplish, you'll never lose that insecurity. And that's not to be a downer. It just is what it is, that we don't lose our insecurities. We just learn to shut them up. We just learn to say, I'm not going to think about that. But own it. Own that you think you're ugly or you think you're fat. Even if you're 5'10" and 100 pounds, own that insecurity about gaining weight, or not feeling pretty. I mean, everybody's got insecurities. Even somebody who is mentally well, which I don't think even really exists, everybody's got baggage. Everybody's got insecurities. So no matter how perfect somebody is, just know that they got insecurities. And they deal with them. They typically deal with them by not focusing on them. I don't stare in mirrors because I'm going to get upset. I'll walk past them without looking. Now, my daughter, my 14-year-old, cannot walk past the mirror without looking at herself and messing with her hair and making kissy faces. I don't think she's insecure about how she looks. She might say it. But own it. Own it. Because, see, the thing is if somebody knows you're insecure about that, don't think that the whole world's going to use it against you. More than likely, if they know that you're insecure about the way your face looks, they might be less likely to say, aren't you going to throw on some makeup? They might just say, oh my gosh, you look really pretty today. They're less likely to mention that which you're insecure about. Like if you hate your nose, or whatever your deal is. But one of my biggest suggestions, though, is that when you get into this frame of mind that you're not worthy, those negative automatic thoughts are just really, really taking over. You have to turn it around. When you think about what somebody said to you and you're offended, unless it was an outright, bitch, you're ugly, don't assume that they're saying what you think that they said. Replay it in your head. And use it in context of what you were discussing, what you said, and try to think of other things that the statement that really upset you could have meant. Where was it coming from? We don't know what battles go on in somebody else's mind unless they tell us. We have no way of knowing. We have no way of knowing why they do what they do unless we just happen to have a particular insight. If we have particular insight on them, then yeah, we can figure out why they do what they do and what they mean when they say things. Somebody with particular insight to me would know that anything I said was not meant to be offensive, that I'm not going to insult you. I'm not going to use nuance to insult somebody. I mean, if I was really mad, if I got really mad and wanted them to leave, never come back, if I was that mad, it would be pretty clear. I wouldn't mince words. It would be a straight, get the fuck out of my house and don't ever come back. I would be very clear about it. So if somebody has not been specifically clear, then you might want to let that swirl around in your head what else they might mean, because it may not be an insult to you. Most likely it isn't. And the same goes with them forgetting about you. Maybe they had somebody come along that had them so worked up mentally that they couldn't think straight, or they got drunk with that person, or whatever. Sometimes stuff comes up that kind of messes up your whole plan for the day. And if it's somebody who's particularly demanding, they'll forget about everybody. They'll forget, oh man, I'm supposed to call my mom. Wait, where's my kid? I mean, we've all got people in our lives who will come around and they are just so either drama filled or fun filled, or, they're so too much something that we have trouble keeping our thoughts straight. So you always have to, you don't have to look at, even though you feel insecure about your place in the world or their loyalty to you, or that you're on their list of friends, you're the last one in the line, don't assume that that's you, that what you think happened, because most of the time we're wrong about it. It wasn't, oh, well, I made plans with somebody I like better than you. They're not thinking that. Most likely they're thinking, oh, she'll understand. She always does. And they don't realize that it hurts, because they're not the person who's sitting there waiting. It just, you can't dwell on their lack of understanding our needs. Just like everybody, you end up hurting people and not realizing how you did it. It happens all the time that somebody is like, well, you hurt my feelings. And it's like, what did I do? What did I say? It's like, what's going on here? Why are you mad at me? Because their insecurities mistook something you didn't mean. You didn't mean to make that person feel that way. So when you're let down by the people in your life, the people that you truly cherish, the people who you are going to keep in your life, no matter how many times they let you down, just remember that if you don't tell them what really upsets you, they don't know. They have no clue. They don't know if they're supposed to come visit you. They don't know that you've been planning all week for them to come visit you. They figure it's just a visit. It's no big deal. They don't know that you had a whole thing planned. They don't know that you've been all week going, they're going to come visit me on Saturday. They're coming over. Awesome. I can't wait. I'm so happy. They don't know how you're sitting there at your house and going, when are they going to get here? Should I call them? No, I don't want to bother them. I'll just wait. They're probably on their way. They'll get here. They'll be here. We'll see them in a minute. They don't know that you're at home doing that. They don't know that you're like, I need to go to the bathroom. But what if they come when I go to the bathroom? What if I'm on the toilet and they knock on the door and I can't just get up and go get the door, and then they leave thinking I'm not home. So I'm just going to sit here and not go. They have no clue that you're at home doing that. That you've got, like, they have no clue that you're sitting at home and somebody comes by and says, hey, I'm going to the lake. You want to come? Well, I would, but my friend's coming over. Oh, okay. They have no clue that you could have went and did something, but you were waiting on them. Now, I'm not saying you go tell them, at least until you calm down. Maybe next time they say, I'm going to come over. Will you actually come over this time, or will you leave me waiting at the house all day and not call and say you're not coming? I will do that. No, I won't. I'll do it in my head. Because normally by the time they call me back and they're like, hey, I'm going to come see you on Saturday. Okay, cool. And then you're like, this time they'll definitely come because they didn't come last time. Yeah, it sucks. And in my mind, I cannot imagine why people do that. I'm like, if I'm not coming over, I'm going to call and say I'm not coming over. It's that simple, but I know that I am not alone, that lots of people do that. That they make plans and then they conveniently forget about them and have no clue that they're letting you down so much. But it's not about us. So always remember that when they don't show up, it ain't because you're not good enough. It isn't because you're not fun enough. It isn't because they don't really like you. They just wanted you to think they were coming over. They're not playing a big practical joke on you. There's no hate intended or anything like that. It's just that some people suck at letting you know that plans have changed. And that's about them, not about you. And you can rest well knowing that you wouldn't do that shit to them or anybody else. That when you say, I'm coming over on Saturday, you're going to be there on Saturday or you're going to call. That is something you've got over them. That if they planned all week, you wouldn't let them down. You know you wouldn't. You know that you would be there even if you were running 103-degree temperature. Well, maybe not then, but you would call and say, hey, I'm running a fever and I don't want to get y'all sick. So know that in that regard, it's not about you. And you're a better person than they are because you wouldn't leave somebody hanging. But nobody deserves to be left hanging. So if you're leaving people hanging, remember what I told you about they're probably sitting there like really excited to see you. And all day long, they're not doing stuff for fear that they'll miss you coming by. So that's that. I will see you tomorrow. I will not see you again tonight. I promise. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.